All right, here is how I create video clips using Opus.Pro from my video recordings. I use this both for myself and for my clients and to protect the innocent. In this case, I'm going to use a recording I did of myself. So that's the file I want, and I send it into Opus Pro and it will upload. There may be some edits in this video because of wait times, etc. But to give you an idea, maybe we'll do part of this in real time. It is not instant though. Okay, my video file is there. And I have the option to get clips in one click. But I'm going to double check these settings here and make sure that they are what I want. So I am saying that I'm going to use its automatic clip model. I'm not selecting a genre. There's some examples of some genres. They have two different recording models here. I like Clip Basic, but we'll stick with Auto because that's probably what it will select automatically. And then clip length, I also say automatic, and it is 0 to 3 minutes in this instance. We want our video clips to be under 3 minutes anyhow, so that's okay as well. And here is where things get a little bit pro. I have some branded templates that I've set up. So in this case, I'm going to use the one that I've set up for my company. It is Vertical Videos and has my fonts, colors, and a little overlay icon. Anyhow, let's get clips in one click and see what happens. This is where there will be a bit of a wait while it generates those clips. So forgive me, imagine you're going to see an edit here. But to give you an idea, there's the 1% status. And we're back. This was my file, and these are the resulting clips. Now, I only recorded three pieces of content, I guess you could say. So it looks like it has generated, oh boy, it's generated about 15, 16 clips from my 7 minutes of footage, just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here. Now, typically when I do a recording with a client, it will be in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 separate prompts. And what I do is I just leave it up to Opus to create those clips for me. There is a few cases where I have to do things a little bit manually, and I don't believe that will ever be a challenge for anyone watching this. And if it is, just ask me questions. And what I mean is that, let's say you have 10 sound bites or 10 pieces of content that you record in a single session within Riverside or whatever your recording device happens to be, and then you run it through Opus Pro, and it doesn't select all, or doesn't give you clips for all 10 of those pieces of content. It will probably give you, this is going deep into the weeds right off the top of this video, but so I talked about LinkedIn vertical videos in this example here, but it's also the 16th one. And so I can go into edit clip and probably find the piece of transcript for the stuff that's missing when I go to add a section. If you look here, there's lots of the things that it didn't include in the clip that were also recorded. So if I have to access something that it didn't clip, there's always the option of doing that. But let's skip back and take a look at what we really came here to see, which is its top choices for clips from my content. Now, it gives you a little score here based on what it believes to be the quality of the clips that it's generating. It gave me a 99 on this one. I think that's less about my content and performance and more about it confidently choosing the best of what was in the recording. So it's not like I'm a 99 out of 100 as a content creator, so much as this is its best attempt at selecting the best soundbite from the raw material that I gave it. I can see that the clip that it decided to create here is 2 minutes and 38 seconds long. I don't believe that I spoke for that long in any of my content chunks. I can need a better term for that. But so there's probably a lot here that needs to be edited out, and I want to walk you through this process. So this particular piece of content was about imposter syndrome and how everybody has it, but it shouldn't be a reason to stop you from creating content. So what you see here is an AI generated title for this clip. This AI generated title never actually sees the light of day when you publish. Let's say, for example, you're publishing to YouTube as a YouTube short. If you want to publish directly, then it would, but you can also obviously rename it. But I don't do that. I send all my stuff to LinkedIn. So I will download the clip, upload it to LinkedIn. And of course, the title never sees the light of day. It's up to me to actually enter text to go along with my video upload on LinkedIn. And so these are really just for reference to determine one clip for another. So you can pretty much ignore this except as what we in the media industry would call a slug. That is a short, usually consisting of a maximum of a few words, name of a piece of content. So the slug for this one is silence imposter syndrome, conquer self-doubt, and build trust. Let's dig into actually editing this clip and seeing what we have. Now, you can preview it if you like. I don't know if you're going to hear the audio here, but let's try that. Okay, so right off the top, I can see it didn't start with me speaking. So we obviously have editing to do there. Let's dig into the edit and fix that. The first thing I know is an issue right off the top is that there is this chunk of 9.3 seconds of dead air that I want to eliminate. So step one for me, and this is pretty simple, is I highlight the first word, and here in the More menu under Split and Trim, I set as Start. So now my clip will start with me saying imposter right off the top. Nice. That's exactly the result that we're looking for. Now, you will see that any additional pauses in my speaking within the video are also highlighted here as pauses, and I can eliminate those to tighten up the edit. Let's have a look at what that looks like. So you can hear that little pause. Pardon me. I think let's try removing the pause and seeing how the edit works. Nice and tight. Sometimes those pauses sound natural and you want to leave them in. And so, I leave that up to an editor's discretion. I certainly do leave them in from time to time because pauses sometimes they are intentional and they are for effect. And sometimes, more often than not with me, it's doing it now, trying to find what you want to say next. And so you pause, and those, we can safely remove them. Another thing that you'll see is I prefer that it didn't do this. It should eliminate the word from the transcript automatically because I can't imagine a context in which somebody wants their transcript to include the word ah. I'm going to show you what that looks like here. I didn't want to do that. But I do want to see this larger. So so you can see the captions on the screen saying a lot, which is, germane to this example. Bring up to me. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. Well, there's scenarios where it might be okay to hear it. It might be more natural to hear it. But if we can get away with removing it, we want to remove it. So there you have several options there. One is to go over to AI Enhance here and just remove all filler words right off the top. What that does is its best attempt at removing the sounds from the speech, leaving you hopefully with a clean chunk of audio. Now, if I'm being transparent with you and somewhat critical of Opus, it doesn't do a perfect job of this. There is sometimes a little bit of remaining left over when you do that, but we're going to do that. So this button, remove filler words, will remove them all at once. For the sake of this demonstration, and because I've learned through trial and error, I prefer to do them manually. So let's highlight this and remove caption and video. So we want it removed from the caption. We want to remove it from the video clip. That's going to create an edit in our timeline where the used to be. So now let's have a look. Bring up to me. So there is a blip there. We're not perfect. It is not a perfect edit. And so I want to dig in there manually. And this is Jordan as a professional video editor now, getting obsessive about the quality and wanting to remove that slight sound. So I'm expanding my timeline with this zoom button, and I am ideally, and this is curious because this should show me, it should show me a waveform of my speech as well, which is how I identify there it is. So you can see there's a gap here. This is the waveform of the actual sounds in the video. It looks like right on top of its edit, it left a little bit of sound. So let's listen to it. Bring up. So I want to eliminate that. So what I do is I highlight this piece of video on this side of the edit, and I hit the split button. That creates a split. Now, oh, you can see it. You can see that I want it gone. So I highlight it and remove it. Now let's try again here. See how it goes. I think we could do a little better. So we'll see if we just split this and remove that tiny chunk. So we removed that. See, now that was several steps. It's somewhat tedious. I could have removed them all with the click of the AI Enhance Remove Filler Words function, but it would probably also leave me with those tiny little blips and blurbs of leftover ums and ahs, and would require the manual edit anyways, which is why I prefer to go through these individually and remove the ums and ahs automatically. I'm a lot more forgiving, or I guess a little less picky when it comes to things like these pauses, but ums and ahs have to go particularly from the transcript. I don't want to be seeing an ah appearing in my captions when you're hearing me speak. And for those who are watching and are curious, yes, it's annoying to watch myself on camera. And if you're doing this for yourself, you're going to feel the same way. Again, we're our own worst critics, which is really, this is meta, because that's kind of what this is about. I say right here, it's healthy to be your own worst critic. That's not the same as saying that it's, easy to watch and edit yourself on camera. Anyhow, that's a little inside baseball for you. Let's take it from here and see how that gap. Way too long of a pause there, so let's kill that one. Remove pause. See, I had the option of removing all pauses. Some of them, though, as I said, I like, so I'm going to do the manual as I go here. And thank you again for your patience while we go through this. This is a worthwhile demonstration, I think, first of all, of what I do and how you can recreate this stuff for yourself. If you're not as picky, you can just remove them all from the transcript and leave your ums and ahs in natural speech. That's perfectly okay. But because I'm a former television commercial editor and somebody who makes content for clients, I obsess about quality and I dig in and I actually go to the trouble of making sure that it is its best possible version before I hit publish. That said, let's listen to that edit and see how we made out. How good was that, right? Now, again, that was just automatically removing it. Now, I think we could I'm going to live with that as a sound, but I do want to eliminate it from the caption. So look, it's eliminated from the caption. And if we try it again, see, I can live with that. Let's carry on. I can live with that pause too. I can live with that pause. I don't know about you, but I think we're on a roll here. Now, to save us the trouble, I'm going to look at the rest of this. Look, turns out I did talk for 2.5 minutes in that clip. That is too damn long. So, full transparency here, before I publish this video, I'm going to perform a slightly more exhaustive edit and remove some of the fat in this and shorten it down. But for the sake of this demonstration, we'll just pretend that I wasn't so verbose and that I'm content with having removed those few bits of ums and ahs and so on. Looks like I was able to eliminate some of those ums and ahs because I don't see many of them here, but I think there's probably a little bit too much talking in this. So assuming that your edit is done, you'll go into the right-hand menu here and, sorry, that's the AI Enhance. We don't want that anymore. We would call this, if we were ready to call this done, we could say Save Changes. And what we end up with, it's important that you save changes, of course, because that is to commit all the edits that you did. Now it is thinking and it wants 60 seconds to process this video. In my experience, it doesn't actually take that long, so I might have you just sit here in real time while we wait for that. And even before it's ready, I can click through to the individual file and have a look at it as a standalone here. Now, okay, so it already completed its edit of the transcript. Now, I can copy this transcript and Control C, copy that transcript and use it in my resulting post. But there's another step that I do there, which is to fire up ChatGPT and ask it to clean this up and remove the punctuation. It also has little time code in here. Again, not something that I prefer. I would prefer that time code to be eliminated from my copy paste here, but ChatGPT is smart. It removes the time code and it adds punctuation where necessary so that this can become a text post that reads like written English. The thing with this approach is I don't always have to use a video clip. I can just edit my transcript. I can hit that AI Enhance, remove filler words, save changes right off the top, copy, paste the resulting transcript, put it in ChatGPT, ask for a punctuation edit, and I end up with a solid text post because the thing that I had to say in the first place was good. But in this case, I do want the video clip. I want to publish it as video. And so in that instance, I would go here to download HD. You can see that little green button indicates that there is something new. We've just saved new information and we can download that. One click of that will automatically download that file to my local drive that I can upload later. Now, you can save yourself some trouble and publish directly to social, but again, as I am a content creator for others, I download these, I preview them with my client using Google Drive and Notion. So I use a Notion calendar. I'll show you that in separate modules here where I essentially schedule the content into a calendar with the text and a link to the video preview. Thanks for watching this step. Opus.Pro does a really good job. It saves a ton of time in the editing process. I know that it took a lot of time to demo this, but I assure you that when I am doing it and I'm not explaining it, it is really fast for me. And that's even considering the fact that I am hyper obsessive about quality and some of the edits that we talked about. Whereas if you just wanted to, kind of use your unfiltered thoughts, simply remove a couple ums and ahs from the transcript, a couple of clicks of a button and a quick download, and you should be good to go. Thanks for watching.